Hi YouTube, it's Trevor here, Summit or Nothing. You may remember a month or so ago I asked you all what was your favourite tents, and today I've compiled a top 10 list from your personal recommendations. So this is the Summit or Nothing viewers top 10 favourite tents. There are links to all these tents in the video description below. If you're new to Summit or Nothing, we do all sorts of hiking, backpacking, budget gear reviews, anything outdoors orientated really. So give us a like and a subscribe and have a look back through some of our fantastic content. So now we get into your top 10 favourite tents. Number 10 is the Jack Wolfskin Gossamar tent. Now this is a tunnel tent, 4-season tunnel tent. It's recommended retail price of £165. The 2-man version comes in at 2.28 kilograms, so it's fairly lightweight. It's not too heavy. There are heavier, there are lighter. From looking at reviews from different people, the pros: very roomy and easily fits 2 large adults. It's a bomb shelter, amazingly well built. And the cons I could find were condensation or rain dripping into the tent, couldn't decipher which, and not much of a vestibule. Even though I must say from the image it looks a fair sized vestibule, to be honest. But they're probably on about when there's 2 of you in there, you got both of your bags and stuff outside. There's not a lot of room for cooking, perhaps. I don't know. Anyway, the Vango Mirage Pro, another 4-season tent. It's a recommended retail price of £180. It's a geodesic dome tent, freestanding structure. The great thing about the Vango Mirage, we've used them before, Nathan and myself, the geodesic structure is really good in the wind, and you can pitch the outer and the inner skins together. It's an excellent quality and it's easy to put up and take down. It is a bit on the heavy side. The 2-man version is 3.2 kilograms, but when Nathan and myself have taken it out in the past, you can split it down between the 2 of you to distribute the weight. Number 8 is another Vango tent. It's the Vango Tempest. It's a 3-season tent, recommended retail price of £180. Again, it's another tunnel tent. The 2-man version comes in at 2.8 kilograms, so although it's lighter than the Mirage, it's not quite as light as the Jack Wolfskin Gossamar. The inner and outer do pitch together. It's larger than a Banshee, but it has a front entrance rather than the 2 side entrances. From what I could tell on different reviews and things, the pros: good ventilation and easy to erect, and the cons: there weren't many cons popping up as I could find. Perhaps you add more experience, you could put below what you might think the pros and cons are. Number 7 is the Wild Country Zephyros tent. It's a 3-season single pole hooped tunnel tent. Its recommended retail price of £200. The 2-man version just comes in just under 2 kilograms at 1.9 kilograms, and you can pitch the inner and the outer flies sheets together. The pros: easy to pitch, resilient in high winds, and the cons: not so good in hotter climates. Number 6. Now this is the most expensive tent to pop up in the top 10, and it's the Hilleberg Atko. Now the recommended retail price for this tent is £600. It is a 4-season tent, similar in design to the Zephyros, in that it's a single poled hooped tunnel tent. Obviously it's 3 times the price. Now it is great quality. There is a reason it is so expensive, and it is robust and it's good for winter use. The 1-man version is 1.7 kilograms. I couldn't see that there was a 2-man version from my limited research that I've done. It is lighter, but the cons are it's very high price and not much room. So then we move on to number 5 is the Naturehike Cloud Peak 2. Now I've always been interested in the Cloud Peak 2. I don't know why, I just like the look of it. I've yet to buy one. The recommended retail price is £180. It's 2 entrances, geodesic dome tent. It's got 2 good sized vestibules. You can pitch the fly sheet first. The 2-man version is 2.5, so a little on the heavy side, and a taller man would have to sleep diagonally in there. Again, with most 2-men tent, it's always a tight squeeze when you have 2 men in there, but I like a 2-man tent just out on my own, so many of you probably feel the same. The pros are it is great in high winds and really good ventilation. The cons, relatively heavy, and some, from what I could tell from different reviews and different customer ratings, there has been some poor stitching reported. Number 4 is the Vango Nevis. It's another Vango tunnel tent. There's 2 entrances. The fly sheet and the inner sheet can be pitched together, which is always helpful. A patented Vango tension band system increases the tent's performance in adverse conditions. This is the 300 tent that I can find on here, and it says that the weight is 2.5. So at 2.5, it's not a bad weight. It's coming in under the Vango Mirage. It's strange, I can't find a lot of information on these tents. I found one review where someone said you will be disappointed with this tent, but obviously it's made number 4 in our list, so a lot of you out there are using it. Number 3 in the top 10 is, well, it's my tent of choice. It's the Cloud Up 2. It's a 4-limbed freestanding tent, so it's really easy to pitch and move around. It is easy to pitch. You can pitch the outer skin first, and then the inner to keep that dry. There is only 1 entrance, but it's a fairly decent sized vestibule for 1 man on his own, as such as I am. It is fantastic. It's been my most favourite tent. The recommended retail price is £140, and it's a 4-season tent. The Naturehike Cloud Up 2 is 1.75 kilograms, so it's under the 2 kilograms. It's fairly light. You can make it lighter if you got rid of the additional floor mat and what have you. Naturehike have released an upgraded version with the 4 limbs. It used to have 3 limbs. Now there's 4 limbs. There's additional ventilation inside it. There's additional places to tie guy ropes on. And I found that 1 extra guy rope to the rear window makes all the difference as well. I've been hammered in some sort of horrendous winds, and that additional guy rope has helped to keep it up. Also, as you may not know, I've taken it out in the past alongside an MSR Elixir. Didn't get any MSRs on this list, which I was surprised about, but went out with the MSR Elixir, and that got hit by the same 60-mile-an-hour winds as the Cloud Up 2, and those poles did not survive that night. Whereas the Cloud Up 2, even though it's flattened at the time, it just sprang to life, and I think with that additional guy rope on the rear window would have made all the difference. Number 2 is the Vango Banshee. This was my first tent I bought on my own, the Vango Banshee 200. It's another tunnel tent. The last time I saw it set up, actually, it surprised me, because I used to think it was quite a cramped, claustrophobic little tent, but it's actually a lot bigger than I could remember. The new version has a door either side. Mine only has 1 door on one side. The downside with it is there is limited vestibule space. The pros of it are that it is a rigid little tent. Being a tunnel tent, it is quite low down and good in the winds. We've put it through all sorts of different wind tests in the past, and it has survived. Yeah, so number 2 was the Vango Banshee. Which leads us to number 1. Now, I have this tent as well. It is one of my favourite tents. I find it a little bit more tricky to put up than the Cloud Up 2, but you guys obviously swear by it. A lot of YouTubers out there use it, and it's a very lightweight tent. It's the Lanshan 2, so obviously you can put the Lanshan up with your hiking poles, so you're reducing weight there. I think it comes in at about 1.2 or 1.4 kilograms, somewhere between there. You can get different versions of it, so you can have the lightweight summer versions, or you can go for the Flames Creed, which is more geared up for 4 seasons. So yeah, there we go. That's the top 10 tents as voted for by you guys. As I said, there's links to all of these tents below, and I'll also put on my playlist of my tent reviews in case you wanted to have a look back through that. Anyway, thank you ever so much for watching, and we'll see you all soon. Cheers.